Hi guys, I missed you all last week, but I'm here this week, and as I'm recording this, and as you're going to hear it, it is Sunday, November 11th, 2018. Today's episode is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to dive straight into Sector 2814 as I look at Grant Morrison, Liam Sharpe, and Steve Oliff's new Green Lantern #1. And then I'm also going to take a look as I jump from ring to ring at CM Punk's early career from Ring of Honor and IWA-Mid South. I got more than a couple matches. I got 2 or 3 matches there that I look at as kind of highlights for me that I enjoyed, and hopefully you will too. So stick around, because this is Not Life with Adam S. Messinger.
If you're reading Saga or crying from the Muir, he'll deliver a sunset flip so hope secure. He's got comic books and wrestling all night. This is Not Life with Adam Messinger. Adam S. Messinger.
Welcome to episode 42 of This Is Not Life with myself, Adam S. Messinger. I'm very excited about today's comic. Wednesday, we had a whole slew of things coming out, and Green Lantern by Grant Morrison and Liam Sharpe was among them. So I read the book, not really knowing what to expect. The whole franchise has been skating on the success of Jeff Johns' run from, at this point, probably 10 to 12 years ago. It's about time that we have some new life into the franchise, something that isn't a faded derivative at this point. So I'm curious as to what Morrison is going to do in the long run. Supposedly he's got 12-issue seasons lined up. This is just part 1 of season 1. There's going to be spoilers, so get ready for spoilers. If you don't like them, skip the wrestling segment. That's all I can tell you. But there's going to be spoilers. So getting into those spoilers, we open up and we're introduced to 2 new lanterns fighting a pirate arachnid, which was super dope. So as I'm starting to read this, I'm like, well, that's a crazy concept, and it's beautifully done. I looked at the preview pages and I was like, this is kind of Liam Sharpe with the 90s edge, not so much the Wonder Woman Rebirth Liam Sharpe. No, I was wrong. With these pages, he goes all out. There's so much detail in the background. There's so much thought and care put into these pages. I can't even begin to tell you how much I enjoyed his art in this. And Steve Oliff, I thought that's such a weird choice for a colorist nowadays. He doesn't do a whole lot of coloring anymore, but he was groundbreaking when he was doing it in the late 80s to mid 90s. And the coloring was fantastic. You could tell he completely understood what Liam was going for. There were parts that were bright that needed to be very bright, that were set in space. And then there were parts on Earth that were more muted. I mean, the team of these 2 were fantastic. After reading this first issue, there was no doubt in my mind that these 2 were the right people for the job. So getting back to the plot. There's space pirates. One of them's a fucking spider. They meet these 2 different lanterns. We're introduced to them. Of course, we get a big giant Morrison concept of a virus that's a Green Lantern. And then we find out that the pirates have actually smuggled stuff and make the ship that they're supposedly captured on crash on Earth. We're introduced to Hal Jordan. He's fired from a job. This is actually a very interesting thing for me. And Morrison said, upon writing this, that Hal Jordan was going to sound out of character. So I'm glad I read that, because it kind of prepped me for that. And it also made me realize that, again, this is him setting himself apart and setting this run apart from anything else that's ever been done in the franchise. Hal Jordan is with a lady, and she is kind of like, what are you doing? Why are you getting fired from shit? And she runs through all of his jobs, and I can't tell if they break up or if he's hitchhiking to a new job. But along the way, he meets aliens, and he ends up getting into a fight with them. This leads to the pirate ship crashing on Earth, and the Guardians of Oa being like, yeah, we got some shit for you to investigate. And it turns into Space Cop. You get the true Space Cop aspect of it. There's points in time where they've played with that, but it's never gone fully into Space Cop mode. Morrison embraces this. He embraces the whole book of Oa with the Guardians and all of that. It turns out there's something wrong with the book of Oa, and Hal Jordan has to be undercover to fix it. One of my big issues is that feels like it's been done before. With Blackest Night, that was a big thing. It revolved around the book of Oa being tampered with. So I kind of felt like that was a retread. But overall, I'm pretty excited about where this is going. It ends with more of the space pirates being nefarious, and there's an antimatter lantern that kind of looks like Hal, that is trying to reestablish itself and reconnect itself, and I'm curious to see what that's going to look like, what color his ring is, all that good stuff. So I would highly recommend picking this up. It's a great first issue. It's interesting. It looks beautiful. Even if you're not a Green Lantern fan, this is a perfect place to start. It's definitely got Morrison's signature weirdness. It's got his high concepts. As a Morrison fan, as a fan of Liam Sharpe, as a fan of Steve Oliff, as a Green Lantern fan, this delivered for me. But you got to go in with the mindset that you're getting something completely unique and something that's never been done before, and that Hal is going to act a little differently. The one thing that I really loved was those moments with Hal, and my biggest gripe for all of the Green Lantern stuff of the past 10 years is that his time on Earth has been limited. Like, it's cool to see him doing all the Green Lantern shit, but I wish that they showed more shit anchoring his humanity, and this has that. And it's not a ton, but it's enough that it's like, oh, okay, he is grounded in Earth, and this is his family. Well, not necessarily his family, but this is a person he's dating. This is kind of the life he's established for himself. And they didn't do that enough, in my opinion, in the other Green Lantern with Jeff Johns and all that. I didn't read any of Robert Vendetti's stuff that pretty much took place during the New 52 up to current. But I figure it to me it felt like a derivative of the John stuff. So this gives a shot in the arm of the franchise, of what works about Green Lantern. It's $4.99. Go pick it up from your local comic shop. You can get it on Comixology. There's all kinds of variants for it if you want a variant. I'm getting the blank variant because I like people to draw up my shit. So with that, stick around. We've got an ad, and then we're going to talk the best in the world, CM Punk. Is there a whole world of people out there that need to hear about what you do? Are there unsuspecting customers in the wings that listen to this, that need your touch in their ears? So that way, you guys can connect up and help each other. Well, here at This Is Not Life with Adam S. Messinger, we would like to give you that opportunity to talk to them. So, email me at, surprisingly enough, adamsmessinger@gmail.com if you would like to advertise in this very segment. I hope to hear from you. As promised, it is CM Punk time. In July, I looked at 3 of my favorite WWE matches of his. Well, now, we're going back before WWE. Back before he was the best in the world on the biggest stage of them all. He was the best in the world in the shadows. Now, these 3 matches they're a different style than probably what you're used to seeing. And I'm going to rank them. They're not going to be ranked. They're just going to be 3 matches that I really enjoyed that I'd highly recommend that you watch. The first one is CM Punk versus Raven in a dog collar match. This is from July 19th, 2003. Raven and CM Punk were in the middle of a huge blood feud. CM Punk was at his straight edge, better than you, greatest. In my opinion, I love when he does the I'm straight edge and I'm better than you. And he's railing against Raven, and not just that, but ECW in general. This match features a couple of ECW players at the very end that are really nice surprises to see. The match is extremely bloody. It's pretty brutal. They beat each other with the chain. If you're looking for technical wrestling, this match is not it. But it's a hell of a brawl. One thing I really liked was the finish, which sees CM Punk's stablemate at the time, Colt Cabana, come out and use Raven's finisher on him. It was extremely well done for a dirty finish. He starts pouring beer all over Raven, saying Raven's, an addict and that's all he'll ever be. And then the tables start to turn. Now, because this is a Ring of Honor match, you are able to find this on Honor Club, which is the Ring of Honor streaming service. So I would recommend going there. Honor Club has a ton of CM Punk matches from his time there. That was his predominant promotion that he was featured in up until WWE. The second match is AJ Styles versus CM Punk, another Ring of Honor match from February 14th, 2004. This is for the Pure Wrestling Championship, which I feel like was their second. It was ROH's secondary title at the time. This is the final match in a tournament, and the special ref is Ricky Steamboat. The thing that makes this match unique is the Pure Honor, or the Pure Wrestling rules. There was only 3 rope breaks per contestant. Normally there was no count out in Ring of Honor matches, but this had a 20 count. And AJ Styles and CM Punk do an amazing job of having these rules play into the story of their match. We see some pretty crazy stuff, especially towards the end. There's some high-flying maneuvers by AJ Styles that you're not going to see today in WWE, just simply, I think, because of age and because they're rather risky. But this match for me was highly enjoyable. I really like seeing this story play uniquely with the rules and with the rope breaks. The one thing I would criticize about it is the story only pertains in the ring. There's no wider story around it. The ROH announce team for his other matches do a pretty good job of telling the wider story of CM Punk's storyline at the time, as far as who he's feuding with, why he's feuding with them, all that stuff. While this was a tournament match, I would have liked to have seen a little more character depth and character interaction between the two of them, as opposed to just competitive interaction. An interesting part about this match is CM Punk does not win, but it's not really that big of a deal to me. CM Punk is one of the few wrestlers that I don't care if he wins or loses, because his match is going to be incredible regardless. And he can lose. It's almost like an art form for him. And while winning's fun, of course, but seeing him lose in a spectacular fashion, as far as making the viewer guess how the match is going to end, false finishes and such, extremely, extremely well done. The third match is not a Ring of Honor match. It's actually a IWA-Mid South match against Austin Aries. This match was high-flying, fast-paced. There weren't a huge amount of turnbuckle spots as far as the high-flying goes either. They take it outside of the ring. They do a spot where they each hit the pole and try to use the outside of the ring as a weapon. And they also do some of the mat work as far as technical wrestling and stuff goes. I thought this match was fantastic. In fact, this was probably my favorite out of all of them that I watched so far. I've got a huge list of CM Punk matches that I'm watching. And so this is part of them. CM Punk is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. So that's kind of what prompts this. Austin Aries is another guy I've really liked. I didn't really know much about him until his WWE run. So when I saw this was when I saw this in the list of matches, this was a must-watch for me. It did not disappoint at all. As I said, they mixed a good amount with outside brawling, with high flying, and with mat wrestling. The finish wasn't one of those that it came out of nowhere, but it was still really well done. They did have some very good false finishes, and these two men did a great job of leaving it all in the ring. So there you go. Those are some CM Punk matches that I really enjoyed. Hopefully you get a chance to watch them. They're well worth your time. If you're a fan of Punk at all from his time in WWE, these will be a breath of fresh air. And it's interesting to see him still somewhat honing his character as the straight edge superstar. He has some of it down, but not all the pieces are there yet. And it's kind of like watching a Pokemon who is not fully evolved. Well, that's all today. I want to thank you, everyone, for listening. Go and download things from dandelionmassacre.com. Go and tell Dan Faughdner that he did a good job on my logos on Twitter. And thank you to Kevin Lane for editing all this stuffs. Visit me at Adam S. Messinger on everything. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm most active on those last two. Facebook, not so much, but you can leave messages on my wall and tell me how much you love me or hate me or you don't give a shit. Becca, is there anything you want to plug?
Make sure you don't confuse him with the Canadian producer who's wildly successful.
Yeah, I didn't work with the Backstreet Boys.
it's a real letdown.
Well, the money's a real letdown.
Sure.
But if he ever wants to produce an album with me, like, I'm down to do an album.
No comment.
Oh, damn. Well, we're going to leave it at that. I just got slammed by the love of my life. I'm going to go cry in a corner and be devastated.
I'm kidding.
Whatever. Peace out, y'all.